New shirt in stock. Get yours now. Support the movement. Hurt pistons, not people. What's going on, guys? You're watching TurboShotIncredible, another episode of Motive News. My name's Devon. Now, the C8 Corvette just came out. A couple weeks before that, the brand new GR Supra, the Toyota Supra, also just came out. And they just so happen to both be around the same price. They're both around $60,000. So what better way than to compare the two? So if you're cross shopping for cars, for sports cars, in the $60,000 range, and you're wondering, should you get the brand new Supra or should you get the brand new Corvette? We're here to help you figure that one out. So without any further ado, let's dive right in. With this comparison, we've devised 5 points of contention. Now, these 5 points are, number 1, cost. Like I said before, both of these vehicles are around $60,000. Supra starts about $50,000. With the launch edition, fully optioned out, you get closer to 60 grand. The Corvette itself starts around 55, I believe, and with the Z51 package and whatnot, you get closer to 60 grand, if not 70. So they're both around 60 grand, around the same amount of money. Point number 2 is power and torque. So we're going to compare the power and torque figures and see, which one matches up better. Point number 3, we have weight and or weight distribution. Point number 4, the perceived initial quality. So how did the consumer base receive the car initially at launch? That's something that we're going to be looking at to sway our decision on which car you should buy and which car you should probably hold out on. Number 5 is going to be size, because size matters in more ways than one. So to start this off, let's go ahead and recap actually both these cars' special features, and then we're going to break it down into their similarities and then more of their differences. So we're going to start with the newest car we have right now, the car that's the talk of the world, the Corvette C8. So if you haven't gotten up to date on that car by now, which I'm sure you have, here's a quick refresher, mainly the special features that make the car stand out. For this Corvette C8, GM has done a wonderful thing by initiating the standardized nose lift. Not even an option, it's just standard. So the Corvette launches with nose lift, and they went ahead and to go as far as to give it a GPS based operating system, or an option that allows you to finely tune exactly when the nose lift needs to get activated based on your GPS location. That's pretty cool. So kudos to GM for that. The Corvette C8 will be getting an optional magnetic ride control. Everyone that's ever ridden or driven a car from GM with magnetic ride control will attest that it is amazing, it's awesome, and that's really, really cool. I can't wait to see how it performs with the magnetic ride control. If there's anything like any of the cars on, like the ZR1 or the ZL1, it should be phenomenal. Another really cool feature that GM is launching. Now, other auto manufacturers have similar options, like BMW and Porsche and whatnot. Now, GM took it and went a little bit different route to make it more special and unique to them and their car. That is their new Z mode. What this is allows the driver, the owner actually, to finely tune the Corvette's driving characteristics to however they like. Right down from the suspension tuning, you can have it on soft, sport, dynamic, whatever it is. You can have the engine on, responsive, or on like a eco-friendly mode, or you can mix and match and make it finely tuned however you want it, and that's pretty cool. They also went ahead and allowed you to program it to each different key. Something you see typically on like a Porsche, honestly, is the PDR, the Performance Data Recorder. Now this is a really cool feature. It's going to allow you to record your performance data right down to the amount of G's pulled on a specific street, your acceleration numbers, your braking numbers, everything that you'd want to see for finally tuning or just for having some fun on your favorite road after you get home from work. Now this one is interesting. I can't wait to see journalists, drivers like myself get behind the wheel and really test this theory. GM says that the Corvette's going to launch from 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. That's fast. That's really fast. That's like GTR fast, and that's like Porsche 911 Turbo fast. So that's awesome, especially for a rear-wheel drive vehicle. That's awesome. I can't wait to see exactly how this performs and how it looks doing so. The really cool thing is the heads-up display, not the heads-up display, the touchscreen display, the navigation screen, whatever you want to call it. The Corvette's launching with a 12-inch display. That's actually a fairly large display, and it's a lot larger than the competition in this video. Last but not least, because it's actually a really big selling point, it was a really big hesitation point for a lot of the customer base for the Corvette. If you guys didn't know that, the main people buying Corvettes brand new are men in their 60s and older. And those men like to do one thing mainly: golf. And they were saying if the car becomes mid-engine, there's not going to be any space for their golf clubs, their golf bag, what have you. I know it's absurd from a driver's standpoint, but that's actually a really big hang-up a lot of the base had. What was Jim's response? They gave you 12.6 cubic feet of cargo space. Yeah, that's a little bit down from the 15 or so that you get in a C7, but that's still plenty of cargo space for 1 or 2 golf bags full of clubs. That's enough to make those guys happy, I hope. This brings us to our contender number 2, or option number 2, however you want to look at it. The brand new 2020 Toyota Supra. Once again, we're going to do a quick refresher of some of the special features of this car, and then we're going to dive into the similarities between the two, and then the differences between the two. So the Supra launches with the platform of being the most mod-friendly vehicle that's ever been created, probably to date, honestly, in terms of being prepared from the factory to be modded by us, by the aftermarket community, the car enthusiasts. And that's really cool. How do they do this? Well, they gave us plenty of room for optional cooling. They gave us plenty of room for added structural reinforcements like strut tower bars, roll cages, bash bars, that sort of thing. That's awesome. We have to give Toyota props for that foresight. Its 0-60 time is 3.8 seconds, so it's a full second slower than the Corvette, but in its defense, it is making considerably less power. The Supra comes in at 3,397 pounds, so about 3,400 pounds. The Corvette was not mentioned because we don't know the weight quite yet. Now the Supra is launching with a forward collision warning, so that'll automatically lock up your brakes if it detects a collision, an imminent collision. That's pretty cool. Not very groundbreaking, not very unique, but it is a cool thing to be launched with for a sports car. So if you're cooking it too hot, somebody pulls out in front of you, your car is going to help save you as well as itself. That's cool. Rain sensing wipers. This is something that you would actually see from BMW. So that's a cool addition. Like I said, once again, nothing too groundbreaking or unique or really going to affect the driving, but it is a cool feature to be launched with from the factory. Netting, Toyota says 31 miles per gallon on the highway. That's actually awesome for a sports car, and with an average 26 miles per gallon combined of city and highway. So once again, that's actually really good for a sports car. With the Corvette, we don't quite know that yet. The Supra, the display, the navigation system is only going to be 8.8 inches, so that's down about 4 inches from the Corvette, so you're going to lose some space there. Last but not least is the cargo space. So the Supra is only boasting a 9.8 cubic feet cargo space. It's not that much, and it's actually a lot less than the Corvette, which is a mid-engine car, so that's kind of surprising actually, that it has that much less cargo space than a mid-engine car. I wonder where it all, well then again, it's a smaller car. It is a smaller car, so there's that. Back to the list, 5 points of contention. Alright, so number 1, we've already covered its cost, both around $60,000. Point number 2 is power and torque. So the Corvette C8 comes in at 495 horsepower, 470 foot-pounds of torque with the Z51 package. What does this package offer? It offers you a performance exhaust, which is really all they said so far. Well, among other things, but in terms of performance-wise, it's just performance exhaust. So how much the car actually makes without the exhaust, we don't really know. I'm gonna guess 470 probably. Supra comes in at, we're being generous here, about 400 horsepower. And you're gonna say, what? What do you mean 400 horsepower? Supra only has 335 horsepower. Yes, the Supra launches rated at 335 horsepower, but multiple publications and shops have gotten their hands on one, dynoed them, and it puts down 380, 390 horsepower at the wheels, which means it's actually making over 400 horsepower at the crank. So Supra is at 400 horsepower, 100 horsepower less than the Corvette. Torque figures are about the same, with the Corvette coming in at 470 and the Supra around 365. It is a smaller car for the Supra, so it's got a plus side on that. Weight. Once again, we don't really know the weight on the Corvette quite yet. They haven't announced those figures. The Supra reigns in at 3,400 pounds. I'm going to take an educated guess and say the Corvette's probably going to be around that weight as well, somewhere between 3,400 and 3,500 pounds, because GM did use extensive lengths of aluminum and carbon fiber in the body and the chassis, so the weight's got to be on the lighter end. Number 4, perceived initial build quality. Now this one's going to be a fun one. Everyone knows the Supra is being built in conjunction with BMW, aka it is a BMW that's just been tuned by Toyota. Now, what does this mean for the initial build quality? Well, that remains to be seen. But what we can say is that Supra did play a big role in making sure that it met their standards in reliability. So hopefully that means it's going to last a long time, not break down once people start getting their hands on them and start beating on them like we know they're going to do. Initially, a lot of people were turned off by the fact that the Supra is being built with BMW instead of just Toyota by themselves. But that being said, once people got their hands on the car, they drove it, they spent time with it, they experienced it, a lot of people actually love the car. So there you have it. People really do like the car. They say it drives nice. It's a fun car to drive. Some say it's not very compelling. Others, you know, they have their own preference. Whereas the Corvette, its initial reaction was actually insane. I have to say it was insane. Everyone was watching, more so than the Supra. The launch was so crazy that if you went to the GM website after the launch and tried to configure your own Corvette, a few hours after the launch, the site was actually down because that many people were trying to configure their Corvette. After that, if you have been paying attention online anywhere, you know, every media outlet is talking about the Corvette. What seems to be a lot more than they were talking about the Supra when that first launched. So you can take that for what you will. I'm going to say the public's attention is higher on the Corvette than it was on the Supra. Let me know in the comments below what you think about that. And we're going to go from there. Number 5 is size. So the Supra is supposed to be a little bit smaller and a little bit wider than a GT86. As we know, the GT86 from Toyota is already a really small car. So that's actually says a lot about just how small the Supra is. It's actually a little bit, I believe it was 5 inches longer than a Miata. So it's a really small car. Whereas the C8 Corvette, it's a little bit of a larger car. Once again, a little bit longer and a little bit wider, but naturally it's mid-engine, it makes a little bit more power, so it kind of has to be. We don't really have any actual figures on driving characteristics and how the weight feels since nobody has actually driven the car publicly yet. So all we have to go off of is what GM tells us in their publications, and so far we know it's going to be a great driving machine and it tackles the track very, very, very well. So size should not be an issue for the Corvette. Now we have went ahead and gone over some of the key features that make these cars special, make them stand out for being brand new cars in 2020. We just gone over the 5 points of contention that are going to differentiate, that sets the stage for these cars. And now let's take a look at some of the similarities between these cars. Like I said, they both cost around $60,000. That's a really good price range. They're both coupes. It's also really good. They're both all new chassis designed for this purpose of being the car that it is instead of being based on the car. Now, yeah, you can argue the Supra with the Z4, but the Z4 and Supra were designed together to be what they are, as opposed to being, say, a 3 Series that they lopped the top off and made into the car. Corvette's a brand new car, brand new chassis from the ground up, all new parts. It's so new it actually has all new suspension. It's running AA arms all the way around. No more leaf springs, so that's pretty cool. Automatic transmissions. They both come with automatic transmissions. 8-speed automatics to be exact, although the Corvette is a true dual clutch transmission, whereas the Supra is a traditional torque converter automatic transmission. There's your similarity, but also your difference at the same time. Both rear-wheel drive, which is awesome. We need more rear-wheel drive cars. A lot of cars, new cars these days coming out are all-wheel drive to make it easier for the average person to drive. But these guys are rear-wheel drive, which is awesome. I love it. And they're both driver-oriented or driver-focused performance vehicles. So that's another similarity they have. They're both focused on being the best knife edge handling thing that they possibly can be right out of the box to give you the most enjoyment, the most fun, and the most feel that you can get behind the wheel. And then you have the classic V8 versus inline 6 turbo. Post of that's really gonna wrap it up for as far as the differences. So let us know in the comments below, which car would you choose? Would you choose the Corvette C8 for $6,000 or would you choose the Toyota Supra for $6,000? Let us know in the comments below which one you choose and why. And we're gonna catch you guys next time with another fun automotive video. Remember to like this video, it helps us out, it helps more people see it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss out on another video. Once again, we'll see you guys next time. Go out there, do something awesome. Peace.